Look at there. And again. Nice blast of Dominican smoke. As is usual, for Two Hands in the Face audio, we're very glad that you've joined us. Thank you. And here's to you, Kentucky's finest, the Dominican Republic's finest. And here's to you, our beloved viewer. We appreciate you joining us on this occasion. You may note the conspicuous absence of gear, instrumentation, stomp boxes, processors, etc. in my lap or in my arms or in my hands. And that's because on this occasion, this Two Hands in the Face episode, we're going to talk about gigs. And I'm going to relay a little bit of experience that I've gotten in 40 plus years of gigging. And I hope that it's helpful to anybody who might be watching. I have a feeling that the majority of our audience are actually working musicians like I am and like my partner is. And we want to bring some tips to you that have been helpful to us. And hopefully it'll get you where you need to be. So on this occasion, my friend Troy and partner in this little business has turned the phrase gig recon. And we want to talk about that first. Gig reconnaissance, checking out the space that you're going to play before it's your turn to play it. So a good practice, if you can work it into your schedule, is to go visit the place you're going to gig. Let's say you've booked something new and you've never played here before. Chances are these days you got booked either by phone, email, or text. So you didn't have to physically visit the place to get the gig. So a good idea in this circumstance is to go to the place and do physically visit it. And that way you can check out some of the particulars like staging. Is there a staging area or maybe an actual stage? If there's not a staging area, are you going to be expected to come in and do prep? Are you going to have to move a couple of tables or maybe a plant to set up what they call their staging area? It's good to know in advance if you're going to have to do that. While you're doing that, whether it's a staging area or an actual stage, hopefully a stage, it's always better, you can check to see what your electrical needs are going to be. And is the space in question going to fulfill them without additional gear? Maybe you need a long extension cord. Maybe you need only your 15-footer. Maybe you need additional outlets. Maybe you don't. But you can go ahead of time and hopefully on a night when somebody else is performing, and you can see how they've set up, and it will help you address some things before the fact, like your electrical needs. But also, what is the volume that's expected of me at this gig? Is there going to be 18 people in front of me or maybe 40? And that's going to determine how much volume you're going to deliver. Maybe if you're an acoustic solo or duo act, or even a trio, you don't need both of your sound reinforcement mains. Maybe one will do, and that's all you need. So when you go ahead of time and you check out your space, you can find out what your sound reinforcement and sonic needs are, and you can also check out what your electrical needs will be. And this is a good time to find out, are they going to provide a stool from the bar for us to sit on, or do we need to bring our own stools? These are things that you're going to be glad you knew ahead of time. It's also a great opportunity to assess the room. What kind of music is this performer that's on tonight delivering? Does my repertoire fit the gig? Because sometimes you don't know. If you're doing a pickup gig and somebody desperately called you the night before or the day of your gig to get you to fill in for somebody else who couldn't make it for whatever reason, you may be an odd fit for that gig and you don't know it. But if you have the chance to go before the fact and see what other people are doing in that venue, you'll know with certainty that your repertoire fits the occasion. This is another great time to get a feel for the overall ambience. Is it a place where people are going to get up and dance after they finish dinner and have a couple or three drinks? Or is it more of a listening room kind of feel? Dress code. And this is the interesting thing about a gig. Even if there's no stated dress code, there is still a dress code. You want to dress properly for the event and properly for the occasion, certainly properly for the place. But you also want to look a little bit distinctive. You want to know that you look like a musician who's there to do a job. I played a high-end place in Atlanta for several years, and they had a stated dress code. I had to go in wearing slacks and a sport jacket, but instead of a tie, they let me wear a piece of jewelry kind of like this around my neck, and they were fine with that. But it said to them, I'm respecting your code, but I'm also distinctive. I'm here as a musician. I'm doing a specific task and job. So it's a good idea to go ahead to that place before you gig there. Try to get a feel for these things. How should I dress? How loud does it need to be? To verify things like fee and found. And by found, I mean, do you get food with the gig? Or is that part of your contract? It's a good idea to verify ahead of time. Know that you're going to have dinner there. Otherwise, carry a fail-safe cache of protein bars and bottled water in your gig bag, because you never know when they're going to starve you out. But it's good to know ahead of time. So if you can do a little bit of gig recon, you can find all of these things out. You can talk to the manager and say, hey, I appreciate the fact that you include food with the fee. Where and when will I be dining? Before the gig? After the second set? Do I get to sit at the bar, or is there a specific designated area? Some places are pickier about this thing than you might think. And it's also a great opportunity to meet the manager or the person who hired you for the gig. If you haven't met them in person, it's a good idea to go shake their hand and say, hey man, thanks for the gig. I'm looking forward to it. Thought I'd come up and patronize your establishment tonight and have a little bit to eat and a little bit to drink and see what you're all about. Even if they don't have time for a conversation, they're going to appreciate the fact that you came to them, introduced yourself, and got off on a professional footing. Small things, yes, but so many musicians overlook them for way too long a time, and they handicap themselves by doing it. So a little bit of good information up front will go a long, long way on the back end of a gig and during the gig. So if you get a little bit of good information up front, do a little bit of recon, you're going to go into that gig way more prepared and way more comfortable, and you'll know immediately what you're up against. You'll have the right accessories in your gig bag. You'll have a snack in your gig bag if you think you're going to need it. You'll know exactly what you're getting paid and how. You'll know what your dinner allowance is if you have one. And it's a great way to build trust with the people in the establishment. You could tell the bartender, hey, I'm playing here in a couple of nights. Are you going to be around? It's nice meeting you. You know, a little bit of politeness and professionalism go a long way. And here's a tip that I can share with you that I know to be a fact. Most of these places do not allow cigar smoking. So don't even take your cigar in there, man. Shots are welcome. Generally, cigars are not. So I hope that this information was helpful. We're going to do a handful more episodes like this on some of the ins and outs of gigging, because there's a lot to say on the subject, and I know there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people giving advice on play these songs, do this, say this. You don't need any such specific advice. Just a few good guidelines before the fact, if you're starting out in this situation, will help you get a much smoother pace going. And it's never my intent to give advice, just helpful information if it is helpful. We very much appreciate you being with us on this occasion. Here's to you and your gigs. Best of luck. And please, if you like what you heard or got anything positive out of this, hit that subscribe button, man. We would love for you to be joining us on a regular basis at Two Hands and a Face Audio. Thank you. Great gigging.